This is Craig Jones, the biggest troll in jiu-jitsu. He's taken on Gable Steveson, a certified wrestling wrecking ball. But what if I told you he might be making a huge mistake? I spent 100 days traveling with Craig. I've seen him take on UFC champions, giant women, children, even mentally challenged old people. In this video, I'm gonna go into who Gabe actually is, why I think Craig chose to fight him, and why, as a friend, I'm actually worried he might be making like a dangerously huge mistake. Alright, so a good place to start this video is actually by explaining who the fuck Gable Steveson actually is. And the crazy thing about Gable is who he was determined before he was even born. So his legal name is Gable Dan Steveson, named after Dan Gable, the wrestler who made up this famous script. And you can imagine, if you name your child after a man who has moves named after him in the world of wrestling, you've got like some crazy high expectations for your child, right? By the way, if you look at his Wikipedia, there's a lot of crazy shit here. It says basically that he started wrestling as soon as he could walk. I don't know what that means. Was he like blast doubling his parents right out of the crib? It says here, and I shit you not, by the time Gable was in high school, he racked up 171 match win streak. This fucking guy competed 171 times and won every single one consecutively. He was then given the Junior Hodge Trophy, which apparently means like basically he was the best high school wrestler in the country. Then in college, NCAA All-American, Division I, top seed, and won like the big boy Dan Hodge Trophy again. So he was the best high school wrestler in the country. Then he became the best college wrestler in the country. And you'd think the guy would take a break after that, but instead he just continued smashing his way through a lot of amazing athletes, fulfilling his ultimate destiny. A come from behind victory at the 2020 Summer Olympics, the youngest freestyle wrestling Olympic gold medalist in history. There's a photo of him biting that medal. I wouldn't be surprised if this motherfucker just ate the medal whole. That's how savage this guy is. And so the first answer to the question of who Gable is should be obvious to like all of us by now. He's basically wrestling Jesus. He was built, born, named to be great in wrestling. He then broke every record in high school, every record in college, and then became the youngest Olympic gold medalist freestyle ever. The second part of who Gable is had equally as high expectations, but also was like way bumpier of a ride. So in 2021, Gable signed with the WWE, right? And he chose to pursue his college career at the very same time. Now, WWE could not have set the expectations higher for Gable, comparing him all the time to Kurt Angle, who's like another Olympic All-American wrestler, gold medalist, and Kurt Angle like broke his neck and still won a medal. And that is the guy Gable is being compared to, one of the greatest wrestlers in WWE history. He could only really disappoint, right? Like, first of all, he was still running his sports college superstar career at the same time. Secondly, he didn't really have much charisma, according to the fans. And looking at some of the footage, you can see it. Like, personality is such a big thing in WWE. And the guy just simply doesn't look like he has it.
Two University of Minnesota wrestlers are in jail tonight in the midst of a investigation.
Gable also got mixed up in a case, which definitely didn't help his career. He was suspended and all over the news. So apparently what happened was him and his buddy went out drinking. They both hooked up with a girl who had also been drinking. And then the girl filed some type of case against them. Now, Gable actually got off on a technicality. Apparently with Minnesota law, they have something called the intoxication loophole. Now, nobody knows what happened. That's between him, her, and his friend. But essentially, he got off. He got off there, but he didn't get off unscathed, right? This thing was all over the news. Reputationally, it was a hit. He probably wasn't cheap to hang on to from the start, and WWE basically cut him at that point. And this strike one for Gable, right? Because not only is he embarrassed publicly because of this case, he gets very publicly fired by the WWE because of it. Next, showing you how much of a physical specimen Gable is, he actually gets signed by the NFL with no experience. Apparently, the first time he put on a pair of like football cleats was during his workout for the Buffalo Bills. And again, a few months later, Gable was cut. Now, does this have to do with the assault? Does it have to do with him not making the cut? We don't know. But that's strike two for Gable. That's another hit. It's another public embarrassment. And since he got cut from the NFL, Gable's actually been training in MMA. Getting ready to make his debut. He's been training with UFC heavyweight bottleneck, crazy ex-girlfriend, fucking insurance salesman, duck who'll never go away, John Jones. All this, by the way, and Gable is only 25 years old. Like that 171 match win streak in high school wasn't that long ago. That college career was not that long ago. The dude isn't even in his athletic prime yet. So Gable is like a generational talent, right? This crazy combination of like speed and power. Does that sound like somebody you've heard of before? Gable is half white. He could be fucking Brock Lesnar's long lost son for all we know. He's certainly acting like it. Now let's contrast Gable with Craig. And the two could not be more fucking different. Right? Craig is not named after an athlete. He does not come from the best sporting high schools. While Gable was competing in the best sports schools in the country, Craig was working in fast food. By the time Gable was the best college wrestler in America, Craig was trying to get serious about jiu-jitsu just so he wouldn't have to get a real job. And while Gable was part of like a pretty sophisticated and well-developed like US high school and college athletic system, Craig sold his car so he could afford a ticket to ADCC. While Gable was like the #1 seed throughout his entire life, I think when Craig fought Leandro Lo, he was something like plus 5,000 when he made that upset and beat him at ADCC. I see Craig roll in person and the man fucking turns purple. He's no Gable Steveson as a physical specimen. I think Craig is a physical specimen in the sense where like they're gonna study how is he not dead yet. He's that kind of physical specimen, right? And while Gable doesn't seem the most charismatic, Craig has used his personality to stand out in a fucking sport full of really boring fucks. The man has never won a gold medal and has his own tournament. That's all you need to know about Craig. So 2 different skills, 2 different journeys, 2 different styles, very fucking different people. Which brings us to why. Why would Craig choose, out of everybody, to fight Gable Steveson, right? And I was with him during a lot of the time he was considering who to fight next. So I have probably a unique perspective on this. Also, I spent so much time traveling with him that I feel like I kind of understand in some ways how he thinks about marketing. I mean, we basically co-marketed that whole last tournament together, right? So first of all, if the goal of CGI is to grow jiu-jitsu as a sport, fighting another dude in jiu-jitsu is not going to have as much impact as fighting somebody in an adjacent sport with a bigger following. And not only do you draw in the wrestling crowd, maybe the WWE crowd, you also potentially draw in the MMA crowd, right? So I think that's part of the consideration for sure with Craig. Secondly, when like 2 different sports and styles come together, you never know what's going to happen, right? So it's always compelling. There's this timeless debate between wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Can the aging jiu-jitsu guy defeat the younger, faster, stronger wrestler? Can the non-athletic, fucking close to death jiu-jitsu guy do that? It's a compelling, interesting question. Third, it gives Craig a chance to troll one of the only groups that takes itself more seriously than jiu-jitsu, and that is the wrestling community. Fourth, and I think the part people underestimate the most, Craig needs motivation to train, right? And Gable is a legit scary fucking opponent, right? He's a 1 in a million athlete. He's like 30 kilos heavier than Craig, at least. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster, he's younger. He could legit suplex Craig into the next century and knock him out in front of millions of people watching. Like Gable obviously doesn't have that much experience in submission grappling, but if you think it's gonna be easy for Craig to just sit on his butt and slide into a leg lock and just end it in like 30 seconds, I can assure you that Craig does not think so. Craig is fucking chose his opponent specifically because he's gonna be scary and he's gonna be tough. Now, let's talk about why Gable is such a dangerous opponent for Craig. First of all, this is not Craig at his peak of athleticism, right? This is not prime Craig Jones. He has been traveling non-stop for years now. Imagine how tired you get after going out on one little trip, right? This guy was traveling completely non-stop in the lead up to the first CJI. He's been traveling non-stop since the last CJI. That's been a fucking year. The man has no home. So when does he rest? He looks skinny, he looks tired, he talks about his blood pressure problems. I've seen how nervous he gets before he takes those blood pressure tests. Craig has said he's literally retiring after this match to work on his health. This is not a prime Craig Jones. This is a dude who's at the end of how far he can push his body. Secondly, it's not like Craig is in training camp, right? He's in a pink vintage car, driving himself across America, trying to promote his tournament. At the same time, dealing with athletes, all the pressure of marketing is on him. His fucking name is on it. He's got the pressure of the tournament making money because he still needs to prove his fucking hypothesis that you can give away this much money makes sense. He probably doesn't make any money until the investor gets paid back. All of that is sitting on his head right now when he should be in training camp. A lot of people talk to me about how magical the marketing was for the last time around for CJI, right? And I'm proud to be part of it. I was excited, and I think me and Craig did some really great work together. It's not the same this year. It's just not. Part of it, I think, is the dude is fucking tired and he has to put a lot of this on his shoulders. I think it's a lot easier to get hyped about a match yourself and be more confident if you feel like you're getting the marketing mileage and buzz out of it and people are really into it. I don't think the storytelling is as strong as last time. And it's not just because I'm not there. I think the man's fucking tired, right? He has to put a lot on his shoulders already. And he's done incredible. But it's not fucking easy. The fourth reason I think this matchup is so dangerous for Craig is a point of comparison, right? Let's compare what Craig and Gable were both doing around the same time. I was with Craig in Colombia, where he got scopolamine, where they put that thing in his drink and he turned into a fucking zombie. That shit has permanent long-term impact, right? His brain could be messed up forever because of it. And while Craig was traveling and partying and doing all this, at the very same time, you know what Gable was up to? He became the first 4-time Big Ten heavyweight champion. He won his 4th wrestling title over an undefeated wrestler. Steveson was named the most outstanding wrestler of the tournament, and then later became the first ever 5-time All-American at University of Minnesota. What was Craig doing while all of this was going on? This is a dangerous matchup. Now, Craig could just leg lock Gable in a few seconds. I'm not saying that won't happen, but what I am saying is this is a more compelling matchup than he's been able to market by himself. This is a more dangerous matchup than a lot of people are talking about. Like, Gable's been able to dominate at wrestling, but he's fucking lost at anything outside of it. Gable needs a win, and he needs to set up the next phase of his career. And being able to dominate one of the best submission grapplers of all time is one fucking way to do it, right? So obviously, I'm a friend of Craig. I hope Craig does well. I hope he fucking gets out safe. I hope he gets out healthy. And you know the craziest fucking thing is, even if Craig survives the match, you've got the John Jones connection through Gable. You've got the Conor McGregor connection through Oscar from the Mac Life. Like, if Gable doesn't fucking kill him, the after party might.